Oh, my dear, I need you to listen to me and I need you to listen well. Because the world is watching you, waiting for you, expecting you to rise, to claim what is yours, to stand with your feet firm on the ground and your spirit unshaken. But instead, you hesitate, you shrink. You soften yourself to make others comfortable. You silence your voice to avoid being too much. You carry the weight of dreams, but you walk as if you are unsure whether they belong to you. And I must ask you, why? Who told you that playing small would? Who whispered in your ear that strength was something to be ashamed of? That standing tall, standing firm, standing in your own power was a burden, a threat, a thing to be tamed. Who made you believe that kindness and weakness were the same? Because let me tell you something, my dear. You were not born to break at the first sign of struggle. You were not placed on this earth to be fragile, to fold under pressure, to retreat when life dares to test you. No, you were made of something stronger than that. You were made of fire, of steel, of the kind of resilience that does not crumble when the wind changes direction. But somewhere along the way you forgot. And now the world has convinced you that being soft is a virtue, that bending is better than standing, that being quiet is safe, and that keeping the peace is more important than owning your power. But my dear, let me remind you, there is a time for gentleness, and there is a time for listening, and there is a time for speaking. There is a time for patience, and there is a time for standing up, standing firm, standing unshaken in who you are. Because life will not hand you what you do not fight for. It will not give you what you are afraid to claim. It will not reward hesitation, nor will it wait for you to find your courage. You must take it. You must claim it. You must stand tall and say, I will not be soft where strength is needed. I will not fold where resilience is required. I will not silence my roar when the world needs to hear my voice. So, my dear, the time has come. The time to rise. The time to claim what is yours. The time to step into your own power and stop being soft in a world that demands your strength. And so I ask you, but listen to me now. The truth is this. If you hear nothing else today, hear this. There comes a moment when, let me tell you something. You must understand the world will not wait. This is not the time for softness. Oh, my dear, listen to me now. Because I need you to hear this with every ounce of your spirit. You were not born to apologize for the fire inside you. You were not placed on this earth to dim your light, to shrink yourself small so that others can feel bigger. But somewhere along the way, you were taught to believe that your strength was too much, that your confidence was arrogance, that your voice was too loud, that your ambition was selfish, that your truth was inconvenient. So you began to apologize. You apologized when you spoke up. You apologized when you took up space. You apologized when you dared to have a dream that stretched beyond the expectations others placed on you. You apologized for wanting more, for needing more, for believing that life held something greater for you than what you had been handed. And my dear, the world was only too happy to take those apologies, to nod in agreement, to pat you on the shoulder and say, yes, be less, be quieter, be softer, be easier to control. And let me tell you something, you do not owe this world an apology for being strong. You do not owe anyone an apology for standing firm in your power, for refusing to settle, for knowing what you want and going after it with everything inside you. Strength is not something to be ashamed of. It is not something to be hidden away. It is not something to dilute so that others can be comfortable in their. Strength is your birthright. Strength is the fire that carries you forward when the road gets hard. Strength is the thing that will keep you standing when life tries to knock you down. And yet there will be people, oh, there will be so many people who will try to convince you that your strength is a flaw, that it makes you difficult, that it makes you unlovable, that it makes you intimidating. They will call you aggressive when you are simply assertive. They will call you selfish when you are simply setting boundaries. They will call you difficult when you refuse to be manipulated. And when they do, they will expect you to apologize. But my dear, do not apologize for being strong. Do not let the discomfort of others convince you that there is something wrong with standing tall. Do not allow their insecurities to become your burden to carry. Because the truth is, people who are intimidated by your strength are only revealing the weakness inside themselves. People who cannot handle your fire are only showing that they were never meant to walk beside you in the first place. And the moment you begin to apologize for your strength is the moment you hand them the power to control you. Think about all the times you have bitten your tongue, swallowed your words, softened your stance just to make someone else feel at ease. Think about all the moments you have played small, hidden your intelligence, held back your ambition because you were afraid of how others would react. Think about all the times you have said, I'm sorry for things that did not require an apology. And now, my dear, I want you to make a promise to yourself no more. No more apologizing for wanting a seat at the table. No more apologizing for refusing to settle for less than you deserve. No more apologizing for knowing your worth, for walking away from what does not serve you, for demanding the respect that should have been given to you from the start. No more apologizing for taking up space in this world. Because the people who truly belong in your life, the ones who are meant to walk beside you, will never ask you to apologize for being strong. They will never be threatened by your power. They will never make you feel as though your light is too brighted. They will encourage it. They will remind you on the days when you start to doubt yourself that your strength is not a burden, it is a gift. So, my dear, if there is a fire inside you, let it burn. If there is a voice inside you, let it speak. If there is a dream inside you, let it rise. Because you were not put here to be soft where strength is required. You were not put here to make yourself less so that others can feel more. And you most certainly were not put here to apologize for the power that runs through your veins. So the next time someone tells you that you are too much, that you are too bold, too ambitious, too confident, too outspoken, too anything, then say, thank you for noticing. But do not, my dear, do not apologize. Oh, my dear, how many times have you felt the fire inside you, only to smother it with excuses? How many times have you dreamed of something greater, only to tell yourself that now is not the right time, that you are not ready, that you do not have what it takes? How many times have you looked at your own potential, clear, powerful, undeniable, and still convinced yourself that you should wait, that you should let someone else take the lead? I am here to tell you that enough is enough. No more excuses, no more waiting. No more second guessing the greatness that has always lived inside you, because the truth is this: the world will not hand you permission to rise. The world will not come knocking at your door begging you to step into your full power. The world will not make space for you. You must claim it. But as long as you keep making excuses for your potential, as long as you keep convincing yourself that you are not ready, you will never step into the life that was meant for you. Oh, I know the excuses well. I don't have enough experience. I don't have money. I don't have enough support. I don't have the right connections. What if I fail? What will people think? Maybe I'm just not meant to do this. Do you see the pattern? Every excuse you make is rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, something unknown. And yet, my dear, let me tell you something. Fear is a liar. Fear will tell you that you are not ready, even when you are. Fear will tell you that you will fail, even when success is just on the other side of your. Fear will whisper in your ear, convincing you to play small, to hold back, to stay in a place that does not challenge or fulfill you. But fear does not have to be your master. Because you, my dear, were not created to live beneath your potential. You were not given these dreams, this fire, this vision, just to waste it. You were meant to rise. You were meant to build. You were meant to create, to lead, to step forward even when your legs shake with doubt. But as long as you continue making excuses, you will remain stuck in the same place, watching others take the opportunities that were meant for you, watching time slip through your fingers while you tell yourself one day, maybe one day. Let me tell you something about one day. One day is an illusion. One day is the excuse that keeps people stuck in lives they do not love. One day is the lie that keeps you from acting in the only time that ever truly belongs to you now. Because here's the truth. The only way to fulfill your potential is to step into it, to take action even when you are afraid, to push forward even when you don't feel ready, to stop making excuses and start believing that if the vision is inside you, it is there for a reason. Do you think the greats who came before you had all the answers when they started? Do you think they waited for the perfect moment, the perfect resources, the perfect confidence before they took the leap? No, my dear. They stepped forward with what they had. They moved in faith, not in certainty. They built as they went. They understood that the only way to create something great was to stop making excuses and start moving. So I ask you today, what excuse have you been holding on to? What story have you been telling yourself about why you cannot begin, why you cannot grow, why you cannot step into the fullness of who you are? And now, my dear, I need you to let it go. Because the moment you stop making excuses, the moment you start becoming who you are always meant to be. The moment you stop waiting is the moment you begin living. The moment you say enough to all the reasons why you can't is the moment you finally see just how much you can. The world is waiting for you. Your potential is waiting for you, but it cannot wait forever. So, my dear, the time is now. The moment is now. The opportunity is now. No more excuses, no more waiting. Rise, oh my dear, how many times have you stood at the edge of something greater, something new, something bold, only to step back because fear whispered in your ear? How many times have you felt the fire inside you, the calling to rise, the hunger to reach for something beyond your current reality, only to let doubt take over and convince you to stay exactly where you are? How many times have you let fear decide for you? I hear it in your voice. I feel it in the hesitation that lingers in your spirit. You have been conditioned to believe that fear is something to bow down to, something that knows better than you. But let me tell you something today. Fear is not your master. Fear is not your truth. Fear is not the voice you were meant to follow. Because, my dear, fear will keep you trapped in a life you do not love. It will make you settle for less than you deserve. It will hold you hostage in places you have outgrown. Fear will disguise itself as logic, as caution, as wisdom, but make no mistake, it is nothing more than a thief. A thief of dreams, a thief of opportunities, a thief of the person you were always meant to become. Oh, I know the voice of fear well. It will tell you that you are not ready, that you are not good enough, that you will fail, that you will embarrass yourself, that people will talk about you, that you should wait, that you should prepare more, that you should find a guarantee before you take a leap. And if you listen to it long enough, you will start to believe it. And so you stay. You stay in relationships that drain you because fear tells you that leaving would be worse. You stay in jobs that do not fulfill you because fear tells you that taking a risk is too dangerous. You stay silent when you should speak because fear tells you that your voice is not welcome. You stay small because fear tells you that stepping into your power will cost you too much. But my dear, let me ask you this. When has fear ever given you anything worth keeping? Has fear ever led you to joy? Has fear ever opened a door for you? Has fear ever handed you an opportunity, a breakthrough, a life-changing moment? No, because fear does not create, it destroys. Fear does not build. Fear does not give. It only takes. And so I am here to tell you that it is time. It is time to stop letting fear make your decision. It is time to stop giving fear the power to shape your life. It is time to look fear in the face and say, I hear you, but you do not control me. I feel you, but you do not define me. I see you, but I will not let you stop me. Because, my dear, the life you dream of, the life that is waiting for you, it is on the other side of fear. Everything you have ever desired is just beyond that moment when fear tells you to stop. And the only way to get there is to move forward anyway. Do you think courage is the absence of fear? No, my dear. Courage is feeling the fear and choosing to move anyway. Courage is standing at the edge of uncertainty, trembling, heart pounding, breath unsteady, and still taking the step. Courage is knowing that failure is possible, that loss is possible, but deciding that growth is worth the risk. And yes, you may fail. Yes, you may stumble. Yes, you may fall. But my dear, failure is not the end. It is the beginning. Every person who has ever achieved something great has stood exactly where you are, has felt exactly what you feel, and has decided to walk forward anyway. So, my dear, no more letting fear make your choices. No more letting fear hold you hostage. No more allowing fear to steal the life that was meant for you. You have the power to choose. You have the power to rise. You have the power to look fear in the eye and say, "You will not decide for me anymore, because this is your life." And you, my dear, are stronger than fear. I need you to listen to me now, and I need you to listen well. You do not need permission to be who you are. You do not need approval to chase your dream. You do not need the applause of those who do not understand your purpose, nor do you need the acceptance of those who have never walked the path you are walking. But oh, how often have you found yourself waiting? Waiting for someone to say, yes, you are good enough. Waiting for someone to see you, to validate, to acknowledge your worth as if it is something that must be granted rather than something that has always belonged to you. How often have you held yourself back, second guessed yourself, dimmed your own light because you were afraid of what others might think? My dear, let me tell you something that will free you. The wrong people will never give you the validation you are seeking. The ones who do not see your vision will never understand your journey. The ones who are intimidated by your strength will never celebrate your growth. The ones who are comfortable with your silence will never applaud your voice. The ones who benefit from your weakness will never encourage your power, and yet you keep waiting. You keep hoping that one day they will see you differently, that one day they will understand, that one day they will recognize your value. But, my dear, why are you waiting for someone else to validate something that was already placed inside you? Let me ask you something. If no one clapped for you, would you still move forward? If no one approved, would you still rise? If no one understood your dreams, would you still chase them? Because this is the truth, my dear. Your purpose, your power, your worth, it does not come from them. It never has. It never will. Oh, but I know what it feels like. I know what it's like to want to be seen, to want to be understood, to want someone to say, I see you, I believe in you, I support you. And when that doesn't happen, when the people you expected to uplift you are the very ones who doubt you the most, it stings. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder if maybe they are right, wishing for too much, dreaming too big, reaching too far. But let me tell you something, my dear. They do not have to understand your journey for you to walk it. They do not have to see your vision for you to bring it to life. They do not have to approve for you to be great. Do you think the legends before you waited for? Do you think the greats, the ones who changed the world, stopped to ask, do you think I can do this? Do you think I'm good enough? Do you think I should try? No, my dear, they did not wait for validation. They did not pause for permission. They stepped forward boldly, even when no one believed in them. And that is what you must do. Because the truth is, the people who matter, the ones who truly see you, the ones who truly care, the ones who belong in your corner, they will celebrate you without needing to be convinced. They will support you without hesitation. They will recognize your strength, your power, your purpose without needing an explanation. And the ones who do not, the ones who belittle you, doubt you, dismiss you, try to make you feel small, they were never meant to hold space in your life to begin with. Honey. Oh, my dear, stop seeking validation from those who were never meant to give it to you. Stop begging people to believe in you when you were meant to believe in yourself. Stop waiting for permission when you were created to move. Because if you live your life trying to please everyone, trying to earn their approval, trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you will waste the precious time you have been given. You will shrink yourself into a version that is unrecognizable. You will silence your voice, hide your power, and abandon your dreams, all because you were too afraid to move without validation. And let me tell you something, my dear. The moment you stop looking for validation in the wrong places, the moment you stop waiting for others to recognize your worth, that is the moment you set yourself free to grow, free to be everything you are meant to be without hesitation, without apology, without needing anyone to tell you that you are worthy because you are. You always have been. Oh, my dear, how many times have you poured yourself into someone who gave you nothing in return? How many times have you bent yourself, reshaped yourself, exhausted yourself, all for the sake of keeping someone in your life who only took and never gave? How many times have you made excuses for the ones who left you empty, the ones who made you question your own worth? The ones who drained your spirit instead of filling it, it is time to stop. It is time to stop giving your time, your energy, your love, your kindness to people who only know how to take. It is time to stop justifying mistreatment, making excuses for neglect, and holding on to relationships that leave you feeling unseen and unheard. Because, my dear, your time is precious. Your energy is sacred. Your heart is not a playground for those who do not know how to cherish it. Oh, I know why you do it. I know why you stay. You tell yourself that maybe they will change. That maybe, if you love them enough, if you give them enough, if you are patient enough, they will finally see your worth. You tell yourself that they do not mean to hurt you, that they are just struggling, that they are just going through something. You convince yourself that their inconsistency is not a choice, that their absence is not intentional, that their neglect is not a reflection of how little they value you. But my dear, listen to me now. People make time for what matters to them. They show up for the things and the people they care about. They invest in the relationships that mean something. And if someone is not showing up for you, if someone is not making the effort, if someone is not treating you with the love and respect you deserve, then you do not need to chase them. You do not need to beg them. You do not need to keep trying to prove your worth to them. Because the truth is, if they wanted to be there, they valued you, they would act like it. If they cared the way you care, you wouldn't have to question it. Oh, I know that realization hurts. I know how it stings to accept that someone you love does not love you the way you love them. I know how it aches to walk away when all you ever wanted was for them to choose you. But my dear, choosing yourself is more important than waiting for someone else to choose you. You see, every moment you spend on someone who drains you is a moment you could have spent on yourself. Every ounce of energy you give to someone who does not appreciate is energy you could have used to build yourself. Every tear you cry over someone who does not see your value is a tear wasted when you could have been watering the garden of your own growth. Because, my dear, life is too short to waste on people who do not uplift you. It is too short to spend your days waiting on people who never show up. It is too short to carry the weight of one sided relationships, of empty conversations, of love that only flows in one direction. And so I need you to ask yourself who in your life is lifting you and who is only draining you, who is adding to your joy and who is only bringing you stress, who is helping you become the best version of yourself, holding you back. Because the people you surround yourself with will shape the life you live. The company you keep will either nourish your soul or deplete it. And if you are constantly exhausted, constantly disappointed, constantly feeling like you are the only one trying, then my dear, it is time to let go. Let go of the ones who take without giving. Let go of the ones who make you feel small. Let go of the ones who never check on you, never support you, never show up for you unless it benefits. Let go of the ones who do not respect your boundaries, who do not listen when you speak, who do not celebrate you when you win. Because, my dear, you deserve to be surrounded by people who see your light and encourage it to shine brighter. You deserve relationships that pour into you as much as you pour into them. You deserve love that does not leave you questioning whether you are enough. And let me tell you something. When you finally walk away from the ones who drain you, you will find the ones who fill you. You will find peace. You will find joy. You will find energy that was once being wasted on people who did not deserve it. You will find space for growth, for happiness, for love that is real, that is reciprocated, that does not leave you wondering. So, my dear, no more wasting time. No more chasing. No more begging. No more settling. Choose yourself and watch how your life transforms. Oh, my dear, I know how easy it is to point the finger outward, to say that life has been unfair, that circumstances have held you back, that the people around you have failed you. And maybe, just maybe, some of that is true. Maybe you were dealt a difficult hand. Maybe you have been hurt in ways that were not your fault. Maybe life has tested you in ways you never imagined. But my dear, hear me now. You cannot heal what you refuse to face. You cannot grow if you are unwilling to see the truth about yourself. You cannot become the person you are meant to be if you are still clinging to the habits, the patterns, the excuses that are keeping you small. I know it is hard to look in the mirror and see the ways in which you have held yourself back. I know it is painful to admit that sometimes you have been your own biggest obstacle. That sometimes it was not life or circumstances or other people who kept you from rising. It was you. Oh, but I know why you avoid. It is easier to blame others than to take responsibility for the way you have allowed fear to paralyze you. It is easier to say that the world is against you than to admit that you have been standing in your own way. It is easier to say that you can't than to face the fact that you haven't tried. But my dear, your healing, your power, your growth, it is on the other side of truth. And until you are willing to sit with it, to own it, to acknowledge the ways in which you have sabotaged your own potential, you will stay exactly where you are. You see, the truth is not your enemy. The truth is your key to freedom. The truth is what will set you apart, what will push you forward, what will break the chains that have kept you bound to the same struggles, the same disappointments, the same cycle of almost but never enough. So I ask you today, my dear, what truth have you been running from? Have you been telling yourself that you are stuck when really you have been afraid to move? Have you been saying that you have no options when really you have not been willing to make the hard choices? Have you been pretending that you are fine when really you have been carrying wounds that you refuse to acknowledge? Because, my dear, you cannot fix what you do not face. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. And if you want a different life, if you want a greater life, if you want to finally rise into everything you were meant to be, you must be willing to tell yourself the truth. Oh, but the truth is uncomfortable. The truth requires you to take responsibility. The truth requires you to see yourself clearly, not as a victim of your circumstances, but as the creator of your life. And I know that is not easy. I know that looking at yourself honestly means confronting the ways in which you have let yourself down, the promises you have broken to yourself, the dreams you have abandoned out of fear, the potential you have wasted because you were waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect version of yourself. But my dear, perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it will only keep you trapped. You do not need to be perfect to start. You do not need to have it all figured out to move forward. You do not need to have all the answers to take the first step. What you need is the willingness to face yourself, to see where you have been playing small, to acknowledge where you have been making excuses, to own the role you have played in your own stagnation. Because the moment you stop running from the truth, you take back your power. You see, the truth will not break you, the truth will build you. The truth will refine you, strengthen you, shape you into the person you were always meant to be. The truth will set you free from the lies you have been telling yourself, from the stories you have been repeating, from the limitations you have accepted as fact. And once you embrace it, once you look yourself in the eye and say, I see where I have been holding myself back, and I refuse to do it any longer, then, my dear, you will begin to rise. You will begin to step into a new version of yourself. You will begin to move with purpose, with clarity, with power. You will begin to recognize that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your story. And if you do not like the way it has been written so far, you and only you have the power to rewrite it. So, my dear, no more hiding, no more running, no more avoiding the truth that has been waiting for you to see it. Face yourself, own your story. and then rise. Oh my dear, how many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never came? How many times have you whispered, I would, but I don't have the time, the money, the right connections, the right circumstances, as if success was something that only arrived on a silver platter? How many times have you convinced yourself that your dreams were out of reach, that your goals were impossible, that your destiny was not yours to shape? It is time to stop telling yourself stories that keep you small. It is time to stop believing that your obstacles are bigger than your potential. It is time to stop making excuses for why you are not where you want to be and start taking responsibility for the life you have been given. Oh, I know. Life is not fair. Maybe you were not born into privilege. Maybe you've been through hardship, through struggle, through pain that most people will never understand. Maybe life has knocked you down more times than you can count. Maybe every time you got back up, something tried to push you down again. But my dear, do not mistake struggle for defeat. Do not mistake hardship for impossibility. Do not mistake obstacles for dead ends. Because if you are still here, if you are still breathing, still waking up every morning, still carrying that flicker of desire deep inside you and have not lost. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as you have fire in your soul, you have everything you need to begin. Oh, but excuses feel comfortable, don't they? They give you a reason to stay where you are. They give you an explanation, not change. They give you an easy way out, a way to avoid the work, the discipline, the risk, the uncertainty of stepping greater. But my dear, excuses will never build the life you want. Excuses will never open doors. Excuses will never bring you closer to your dreams. Excuses will only keep you exactly where you are, repeating the same cycle, living the same story, wishing for a change that will never come, because change does not come from wishing. And I know what you are thinking, but I don't have the time. My dear, everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference between those who make it and those who do not is how they use them. Are you spending your time building, learning, growing? Or are you wasting it on distractions, on things that do not serve you, on scrolling, on complaining, on waiting for the perfect moment? But I don't have the money. My dear, success does not begin with money. It begins with resourcefulness. It begins with finding a way, with using what you have, with starting where you are. Some of the greatest success stories in history were built by people who had nothing but their determination, their discipline, their refusal to quit. If you have a phone, if you have access to information, if you have the ability to learn, then you have everything you need to start. But I don't have the right connections. My dear, connections are built, not given. No one is coming to knock on your door and hand you an opportunity. You must go out and create it. You must put yourself in rooms where you can learn, where you can grow, where you can meet the right people. And if those rooms do not exist yet, then build your own. But I'm not ready. My dear, no one is ever truly ready. The ones who succeed are not the ones who waited until they had everything figured out. They are the ones who started anyway. They are the ones who learned along the way, who stumbled, who fell, who got back up and kept moving. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. And oh, my dear, how much time have you already lost? How many months, years, decades have slipped away while you told yourself, one day I'll do it? How much longer will you wait? How much longer will you let excuses stand between you and the life you were meant to live? Because the truth is, my dear, you do not have forever. Time is moving whether you are using it or not. Every second that passes is one you will never get back. And one day you will wake up and realize that the opportunity you kept putting off, the dream you kept delaying, the goal you kept making excuses for it is gone. And there will be no more time to chase it. Oh, but my dear, that day is not today. You still have a chance. Today you still have time. Today you can decide that you will no longer let excuses steal another moment from you. Because, my dear, you are stronger than your excuses. You are bigger than your circumstances. You are capable of more than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. So no more waiting, no more justifying, no more telling yourself why you can and you will. Because, my dear, the life you want is waiting for you, but it will not wait forever. The time is now. Oh, my dear, take a moment and look around you. Look at the people who sit at your table. Look at the ones you call your friends, your family, your mentors, your companions on this journey of life. Look at the ones whose voices echo in your mind, whose opinions shape your decisions, whose energy fills your space. And now ask yourself this: are they lifting you higher or are they holding you back? Because, my dear, who you surround yourself with will either build you. They will either inspire you or discourage you. They will either push you toward your greatness or pull you into their mediocrity. And I know it is hard to admit that some of the people you love, some of the people you have known for years, some of the people you have trusted might not be the right ones to walk this path with you. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to go where you are going. Not everyone will understand your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your progress. Not everyone will be happy to see you rise. Oh, but I know why you hold on. You tell yourself that loyalty matters. That you have history with these people, that you have been through too much together to walk away now. You tell yourself that maybe if you stay, you can change them, you can inspire them, you can pull them up instead of letting them pull you down. But, my dear, you cannot save people who do not want to be saved. You cannot force someone to grow who is comfortable staying small. You cannot build your future while dragging along those who are determined to stay in the past. And I know, it hurts to it hurts to realize that some of the people you thought would be with you forever were only meant to be in your life for a season. It hurts to see that the ones you thought would cheer for you are the very ones who are trying to keep you from rest. But, my dear, if someone does not celebrate you, they do not belong in your life. If someone discourages your dreams, if someone mocks your ambition, if someone makes you feel small for wanting more and not like it, because your people will push you to be better. Your people will see your light and encourage you to shine brighter. Your people will challenge you, support you, and stand by you. Not just when it is convenient, not just when it benefits them, but always. And let me tell you something, my dear. The right people exist, the ones who will inspire you, who will believe in you, who will walk with you as you chase your dreams. But you will never find them if you are still clinging to the wrong ones. So, my dear, it is time. It is time to take a hard look at the people in your life and ask yourself, do they bring you peace or do they bring you stress? Do they encourage your growth or do they make you doubt yourself? Do they support your dreams or do they tear them down? Do they love you for who you are or do they only love what you can do for them? Because, my dear, life is too short to waste on the wrong people. It is too short to stay in rooms where you are not valued. It is too short to keep company that does not match your vision. And I know it will not be easy. I know that walking away from familiar faces, from old friendships, from relationships that once meant everything to you will feel like loss. But, my dear, sometimes letting go is not losing. Sometimes letting go is making space for something better. So, no more staying in places that do not serve you. No more giving your energy to those who drain you. No more surrounding yourself with people who do not align with the life you are trying to build. Because, my dear, you deserve better. And better is waiting for you as soon as you are ready to let go of the rest. Oh, my dear, how many times have you looked at yourself and questioned if you were enough? How many times have you held back because that little voice inside your head whispered, you're not ready, you're not good enough, you don't have what it takes? How many opportunities have you let slip through your fingers because you were too afraid to believe in yourself? I see you. I see the way you shrink yourself, the way you hesitate, the way you dim your own light because somewhere along the way you started believing that you were not worthy of shining. But let me tell you something, my dear. You were born with fire. You were born with fire. You were born with something inside you that no one else in this world has. And yet you doubt yourself. You let fear convince you that you are small. You let past failures define you. You let the opinions of others shape what you believe is possible for yourself. Oh, but my dear, listen to me now. You are capable of more than you have ever imagined. I know you have made mistakes. I know you have stumbled. I know you have moments you wish you could take back, words you wish you had not spoken, chances you wish you had taken. But, my dear, your past does not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. Your failures do not define you. The only thing that defines you is what you choose to do next. And I need you to understand something. You will never step into your greatness, though. You will never reach your highest potential if you keep questioning whether you are worthy of it. You will never build the life you want if you keep talking yourself out of the things that were meant for you. Because, my dear, every time you doubt yourself, you hand over your power. Every time you tell yourself you are not good enough, you sabotage your own success. Every time you hesitate instead of taking action, you delay your own destiny. And I know why you do it. You think that playing small will protect you. You think that if you do not try, you cannot fail. You think that if you do not hope too much, you will not be disappointed. You think that if you do not step forward, no one will see you stumble. But my dear, playing small will not protect you. It will destroy you. It will keep you trapped in a life that is less than what you deserve. It will keep you from opportunities that could change everything. It will keep you looking at others who took chances, who believed in themselves, who walked in their purpose, while you wonder what could have been. And I cannot let you do that. I need you to understand self doubt is the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live. It is not your circumstances. It is not your background. It is not your past. It is not what they said about you. It is not what they did to you, it is you. You have been waiting for permission to be great. You have been waiting for a sign for someone to tell you that you are ready, that you are capable, that you are enough. Well, my dear, this is your sign. You do not need anyone's permission to step into your greatness. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. You do not need to have all the answers before you begin. What you need is to decide that you are worthy, to decide that you will no longer let fear control you, to decide that you will walk forward even when you are scared, even when you are uncertain, even when you do not know how it will all work out. Because, my dear, confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build, and you build it by showing up, by trying, by failing and trying again, by proving to yourself over and over that you are stronger than your fears. So no more waiting. No more talking yourself out of your own destiny because, my dear, the life you want is on the other side of fear. And today, right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to go get it. Oh, my dear, you have spent too long waiting, too long carrying the weight of excuses, fear, and people who do not serve your growth. But not anymore, not today, because today you choose yourself. Today you stop playing small. Today you let go of the habits, the mindsets, and the people that have held you back. Today you step into your power, own your worth, and move forward with the fire that has always been inside you. You are stronger than your struggles. You are greater than your fears. You are capable of everything you have ever dreamed of, if only you are bold enough to claim it. So no more waiting, no more holding back, no more apologizing for wanting more. The time is now, the choice is yours, and my dear, I hope you choose yourself.